Sometimes life changes in the most unexpected ways. I still remember that morning. It started with nothing more than a spilled cup of coffee. There was this waitress named Maya. She worked at this small cafe called the Maple Diner, a place where dreams usually came to die. Every morning she rushed out of her tiny apartment, kissed her little boy on the forehead, and promised, "Mommy will be back before dinner, okay?" Her son would nod, half asleep, clutching his blanket like it could protect him from the world. Maya was exhausted, running on hope and caffeine. Bills kept piling up, and her son's school trip fee was due the next day. Still, she smiled through every customer who forgot to tip or treated her like she didn't exist. But that morning, it was different. The bell above the door jingled, and in walked this man, tall, dressed in a perfect gray suit. He had that quiet, cold confidence of someone who never had to worry about money. Without even looking up, he said, "Black coffee." No sugar. Maya poured his coffee, careful as ever, but her sleeve brushed the cup, and just like that, it spilled all over his papers. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," she cried, grabbing napkins. The whole diner went silent. The man looked at her, eyes sharp enough to cut through glass. "Do you even realize what you've done?" he said quietly. Maya froze. Tears welled up in her eyes. Before she could explain, he turned and walked out. That's when her boss stormed over. "Maya, that was Mr. Knight. You just ruined our best client's morning." And just like that, she was fired. I can still picture her sitting on a park bench later that day. Gray clouds above her, half a sandwich in her hand. A stray dog wandered over, ribs showing, tail wagging softly. Maya smiled sadly and said, "Guess we're both having a bad day, huh?" She tore her sandwich in half and shared it. What she didn't know was that someone was watching from across the street. Mr. Knight himself, sitting in his black car. Just watching. If you've ever had life knock you down for no reason, you'll understand what's coming next. Because this, right here, is where her story begins. 2 days later, Maya got a call. "Miss Carter, Mr. Knight would like to see you." Her hands shook as she went to his office. She expected anger, maybe humiliation. But instead he said softly, "You probably hate me, but I owe you an apology." "An apology?" she asked, confused. "I didn't ask for you to be fired. I came back to the diner, but you were gone." Then he handed her an envelope. Inside was a piece of paper, her son's drawing. It showed a small house and two stick figures holding hands. At the bottom it said, "When Mom's tired, I draw her a new home." For the first time, Mr. Knight smiled faintly. "That drawing reminded me of my mother," he said. "She raised me alone. Worked nights. She never lived to see me succeed, and I never said thank you." Then he looked up and said, "Maybe I can't fix my past, but I can change someone's future." He offered her a job, assistant manager at one of his charity cafes, and he even paid for her son's school trip. Weeks later, Maya was a different woman, respected, confident, smiling again. The same customers who once ignored her now greeted her with warmth, and that stray dog she met, she named him Knight. If this part warmed your heart even a little, drop a heart in the comments, because sometimes stories like this remind us that kindness still exists. We just forget to look for it. Months later, the cafe wasn't doing well financially. Maya decided to tell Mr. Knight she was quitting before the place went under. But when she went to see him, he just smiled and said, "You think I opened this cafe for business?" "No, Maya, it was always meant to be yours." Then he handed her a folder. Inside was the cafe's deed, her name on it. "Call it your new home," he said. She broke down in tears. Years later, that cafe became Maya's place, a small haven where single parents came for warmth, comfort, and hope. Behind the counter hung her son's framed drawing. "When Mom's tired, I draw her a new home." And whenever someone asked her how she turned her life around, she'd just smile and say, "I didn't meet a billionaire that day. I met a reminder that kindness still exists." If this story touched your heart, don't leave just yet. Subscribe to Tale Story House for more psychological and emotional stories. Stories that remind us that hope still lives, even in the darkest corners of life. And tell me in the comments, what's one small act of kindness you still remember? Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next one I tell.